the screening or light? Yeah.
Good evening to each and every one of you. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to see all of you here in large numbers to attend this talk by Dr. AJU Abraham, who is the Chairman and Managing Director of Retrieve Health and Wellness Center. Let me begin by welcoming our chief guest, Dr. Paul Puthuran. Let me also welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Maria Burgess, who is the President of IMA Kochi chapter. Not forgetting our doctors and associated people from the medical fraternity. We all know you have very limited time, and so to have taken this time off and come and spend this evening with us, we are deeply happy for that. Let me also thank our close friends and people who have come from different parts of the society and who are active in different social causes. We have a few of them here today too. Thank you so much. Of course, our family has always been a pillar of support in all our endeavors. Thank you so much again, all of you, for coming. We will next have the lighting of the lamp. For this, I call and invite Dr. Paul Puthuran, Dr. Maria Burgess, Dr. Saji Kuttulam, Dr. AJU Abraham, and Sarama Abraham, mother of Dr. AJU Abraham. Please come.
There is just photography our side ilana. Photography is from that side. So. മമ്മി
മമ്മി formality there. It's like a family affair. കെട്ടുപോകുന്നു മോളെ
കെട്ടു
ഏതാ ഇവിടെ ഒരു കാറ്റ് എവിടെ നിന്ന് വരുന്നുണ്ട് കേട്ടോ. അതെ ഒത്തിരിക്കില്ലാത്ത
Thank you. Our chief guest for tonight is Dr. Paul Puthuran. Dr. Paul Puthuran, our chief guest, is a renowned physician and a medical director of Luth Hospital for the past 3 decades. He finished his primary medical training, MBBS and MD, from the renowned Christian Medical College, Vellore. After completing his MD, he received the prestigious Newfield Scholarship, following which he proceeded to the UK to pursue his higher training. During his period there, Dr. Puthuran has worked in some of the world-famous teaching hospitals like the John Radcliffe Hospital, Oxford. After his initial years in the UK, he joined as the senior physician of the Kolancheri Medical Mission Hospital, where he served for 15 years prior to joining the Luth Hospital. On a personal front, Dr. Paul Puthuran is an avid traveler who has acquired a great deal of knowledge of the world, traveling around more than 100 countries. In fact, on one of my travels in the airport, I remember seeing you with a big group of young doctors, and I was actually wondering, and then you told me that day that you enjoy traveling and going and seeing places, so we can understand your interest in that. He is also a passionate art collector and a football enthusiast. His life and career has been a motivation for a number of doctors from the younger generation. It is a great pleasure and privilege for me to invite Dr. Paul Puthuran to address the audience tonight.
Dr. AJU Abraham, my sister Sarama, the family members of Dr. AJU Abraham, my dear colleagues in the profession, ladies and gentlemen. It is about 50 years ago that Bishop of the Orthodox Church, Dr. Paulos Gregorios, who was then known as Paul Varghesachan, he had the vision to predict on future climate change, ecological imbalances, and gross depletion of fossil reserves, resulting in shortage of gas, oil, and air, and even water. The gross unscientific felling of trees of the Amazon and the melting of the Antarctic icebergs because of rise in temperature can inundate half the world, including Cochin. The prediction of the wise bishop have come true today, as the living style of the humans have changed enormously. The change in lifestyle to a more sedentary pattern, total lack of exercise, and gross change in unhealthy food habits, and overindulgence in depleting natural resources all have contributed in polluting the ozone zone and increasing the temperature to an alarming level. This has contributed to several lifestyle diseases. It is in this context the Wellness Center being inaugurated today needs to be applauded for its style and content. This kind of centers are usually located in usually rural areas. One such area I have visited was very near Rishikesh, the Ananda group of spa and resort hotels. It was a wonderful experience, and having seen this place, this I feel is a need of the hour, and Dr. AJU had far-sightedness in taking this project to this level. I have had a tour of all the facilities available here, and I am very impressed by the centers, the different specialities that are offered according to the present day as well as futuristic themes. Humanity today needs a holistic approach, be it physical, emotional or spiritual, to fulfill the needs of reaching contentment in life. I personally feel that man or woman needs to have multiple passions besides your primary area of interest. This could be, as a lady stated, could be world travel, interest in sports, taking part in sports and at least following sports at national and international levels, participating in gardening, reading, painting, or even in culinary activities. Finally, in creating a wellness center par excellence in the heart of the city, the person participating in the relaxing techniques takes away the stress factor, and onwards his body and mind. This would definitely invigorate this person and enable him to shed the unwanted habits of substance abuse, etc. This will take the person into a higher fulfillment in life that would also lead on to avoiding lifestyle diseases such as hypertension, coronary artery disease, obesity, etc., etc. I congratulate Dr. AJU Abraham and his team and give full credit to his dear mother Sarama, whom I have known for so many years, who has always been a towering support for the entire family. I also thank his dear wife, his brothers and their families for their unflinching support given to him. With these words, I started by saying that a bishop had a vision, and today AJU Abraham also has a vision. Let me quote from Kalidasa and say that yesterday was but a dream, tomorrow only a vision, but today well lived can make every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. With these words, let me once again take this opportunity to appreciate the good work initiated by Dr. AJU Abraham. Wish him good luck and God's abundant blessings. Thank you very much.
As doctor said, yes, Aju is visionary, and I stand here today as a very proud sister-in-law. I would like to call myself his sister. Many years back, around 6-7 years back, he had this project in mind. None of us were actually aware of what it was going to turn out to be. We had our own doubts. From being a doctor, we slowly started seeing him sending us civil drawings of this terrace, of different rooms, and we were wondering how he managed to learn all this in a short period of time. So I asked Viju, how would you actually describe Aju? So he was telling me he's a very passionate man and he's a big dreamer, but he ensures that his dreams come true. That is Aju. And today, I can assure you that as far as we know, every single nook and corner in this building, Aju's look has gone into it. He would come so often from Doha. It was like us going to Chennai or like us going to Ernakulam. The frequency with which he would come, because his passion, this building was his passion. And just as I stood in awe when I saw this completed building, I'm sure most of you will agree with me that it is the same with all of you too. On a personal, to introduce Aju to all of you, this is what I have to say. Dr. Aju Abraham is a psychiatrist by profession with around 25 years of international experience in the management of stress-related emotional and physical health problems. After completing his basic medical training from the TD Medical College, Alapura, he commenced his higher training in the UK in 1998. And in 2002, he was awarded the membership of the Royal College of Psychiatry. On completing the specialist training program in psychiatry at the Postgraduate Institute of Newcastle upon Tyne in 2005, he received his certificate of completion of specialist training, the CCST, from the Specialist Training Authority of the Medical Royal Colleges of the UK. Very soon, and after the completion of his postgraduate diploma in cognitive therapy from the University of Durham, in 2005, he received the position of a consultant psychiatrist in the National Health Services of the UK. Ever since commencing his journey as a psychiatrist in the UK, Dr. Aju has gathered vast experience and considerable expertise in the field of psychiatry from some of the leading hospitals in the UK, such as the Royal Victoria Infirmary, the Fleming Hospitals in the UK, the Fleming Newfield Unit for Children and Adolescents, the Darlington Memorial Hospital, and the St. Nicholas Hospital in Newcastle upon Tyne. He is now the medical director and consultant psychiatrist of Dr. Aju Abraham's Medical Center in Doha, Qatar, where he has established his reputation as one of the leading psychiatrists for more than a decade. Dr. Aju is now bringing all his expertise into the area of wellness and has set up Retrieve Health and Wellness, the custom-designed luxury wellness spa and lifestyle management center here in Kochi. With great pleasure, let me invite Dr. Aju to talk to us about the 5 pillars of sustainable wellness. Aju.
Switched off. Good evening. Can you hear? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for the great words of wisdom, Dr. Paul Puthuran. Your words touch my heart, and I have to say that you have always been my role model. And indeed, inspiration has to come from people who you look up to. And I can clearly say that you're one of those for me. So today, I'm going to talk about, just one second. This slide. Today I'm going to talk to you about what wellness is and what it means by sustainable wellness. And that means there are things that we need to look at in terms of maintaining our health and wellness. There are key aspects of health and wellness that we need to look into that are crucial, that are vital for maintaining our health and wellness. Now, as per the World Health Organization definition of health and wellness, it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Now, that's quite deep, because in my 25 years of medical practice, what I have encountered is we doctors, we are great for producing wellness for our patients who avidly listens to us. Our words are so powerful that they are willing to make significant changes. Now, there is one problem though. We are all busy clinicians, and quite often in our clinical setting we find it quite difficult to put in the time that is required to get into depth of understanding our patients. And this is quite often a major aspect of our consultations that is going to make changes in a person's life, a sustainable change in a person's life, which we are unable to do because of various factors. Now, in fact, to achieve this state of complete wellness, it does not just require the medications that we are going to give them. We need to look at the person's life in detail, the lifestyle that they are leading. And large proportion of primary care provider visits are in fact related to stress and lifestyle. The fact is that when people are stressed and overwhelmed, they are less likely to engage in healthy behaviors. Now, these healthy behaviors are the ones that actually gets them out of this stressed and unhealthy stage in their life. But they don't. They don't, because of various factors that they're going through in their life. Now, this is where we need to understand what we need to do in terms of attaining this wellness. So the most important aspect of this is effective stress management. Now, when I talk about effective stress management, this is not that easy. This is because we have needs that are not just in one area of our life. We have needs that are in different aspects of our life, which includes our physical needs, which needs to be taken care of. We need the energy level to meet and sustain the energy to do our routine activities in life. We need to function. We need to function at work. We need to function socially. We need enough energy left in us to deal with emergencies in life. And we need enough energy to even do the leisure activities that are going to keep us healthy. And do we have that? Yes, we will have it if we are maintaining our fitness level, the physical fitness, which is the important aspect of this. But do we have that? Do most of us have that? We need to think about that. The emotional needs. We all need to feel that we are loved, we are accepted, and that need keeps us moving forward to do certain things in our life which people accept us or not. Okay, so we need to support this emotional need that we have, and our social needs. We are social beings. We have these mirror neurons which makes us instantly recognize what the other person sitting and talking to us is expressing, and we react based on that. And we need to be approved by the society that we are dealing with, that we are interacting with. We have other needs that includes occupational, financial, intellectual needs. If we are not accepted by the people who are associating with us, then we are not satisfied. the spiritual needs and environmental needs. So interacting all of these and how they are forming a balance in our life is extremely important. If we are able to put a balance to all these things, it's much easier to deal with the stresses that we experience in life. So how do we achieve this? At Retrieve, what we plan to do is to go in detail and understand the level of stress, understand the stress that each person is going through, examine their sleep habits, their dietary habits, their physical activity level, their various nature of addictions that they are indulging in, the psychoactive substance usages, the social connectivity, all these things that keep a person balanced or unbalanced in life. So we build effective relationships with our clients, and we offer stage-matched interventions using approaches such as setting SMART goals. Keep the goals very specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-framed. And our specific approach would be to empower our clients. Now, we are not going to be in the driver's seat. Our clients need to be in the driver's seat. They are the ones who have to take the onus of their wellness. They have to drive their wellness forward. We will enable them. And we conduct group workshops for these. We have cognitive behavioral therapy approaches and approaches of positive psychology and building social support groups for these. And we change things for our clients in such a way that they improve their self-confidence, their motivation level, their autonomy, and enhance the resilience. Now, resilience is extremely important in balancing things in your life, because there are going to be incredible difficulties and challenges in life at various points, and you need to learn to be resilient so that you can move forward without losing your balance. You need to undo the negative feelings and instill positive emotions into your mind. The end result is the ability to manage stress effectively, healthier sleep habits, healthier dietary habits, optimal level of physical activity, ability to manage your addictive behaviors, and the optimal level of social connectivity. Now, moving on to the second pillar of sustainable wellness. This is maintaining physical fitness. Now, one of the biggest problems that everybody is facing, and this is massive in terms of how widespread this is sedentary behaviors. Dr. Paul Puthuran touched upon it, and this is one of the big reasons for people's health deteriorating. It's a distinct class of behavior, and it has specific determinants and effects on disease risk. It independently increases the disease risk despite having adequate leisure time activities. And there are studies that are done on this, and what they have seen, Van der Ploeg in 2012 examined this in almost 200,000 people aged 45 or older, and followed up for about 2.8 years. They saw that around 6.9% of all-cause mortality was attributed to sitting alone. And this was an independent risk factor, irrespective of adequate level of physical activity. Now, that's very significant. Now, this was consistent across all ages, gender, BMI, the physical activity level, healthy participants compared to people who have pre-existing cardiovascular or cardiovascular disease or diabetes mellitus. And looking at it further, there are people who studied the behaviors such as watching television, how it influences sedentary behaviors and health. And they saw that television watching itself is particularly a risk, where people exhibit behaviors such as unhealthy eating habits along with prolonged sitting time during the television watching. And this, in fact, increases the hazard ratio of all-cause mortality even higher, like 1.5 of hazard ratio, in spite of getting adequate exercise. in spite of people having even up to 7 hours of exercise per week, it independently increases the mortality risk. Now, these are very significant, and these are things that anyone can take care of as well. And physical inactivity is, in fact, a cause of 1 in 10 premature deaths. And if worldwide physical inactivity can be reduced by 25%, 1.3 million deaths could be averted every year. This is what they found by Lee et al. Studied the physical inactivity and all-cause mortality and published this in Lancet in 2012. And this is very significant for us to understand and change. So the overall benefits of physical activity is higher health-related fitness, higher control and maintenance of healthy weight, lower risk of disabling medical conditions, and less chronic disease rates, especially compared to people who are inactive. Within weeks of starting regular exercise, your physical function scores improve, you get better weight management, and your risk of diseases start decreasing, such as diseases such as dementia, cognitive decline, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, osteoarthritis, and certain types of cancers such as breast, lungs, colon, stomach, and all. Now, in 2013, there was a study which was a meta-epidemiological study which came in the British Medical Journal. They looked at 16 meta-analyses, around 305 RCTs, which included around 339,000 participants. And what they saw was exercise is better than medication in the post-stroke treatment. It is equivalent to medication as secondary prevention of coronary artery disease and pre-diabetes. And exercise, in fact, has improved side effect profile compared to medications, although it is best in combination with medications. In 2011, Woodcock et al. Conducted a study which looked at non-vigorous physical activity and how it can reduce all-cause mortality. This was a systematic review and meta-analysis this was a study which looked at 22 studies and conducted as a systematic review and meta-analysis. And they found that 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, in fact, reduced the mortality risk by 19%. 19%. All you need to do is 2.5 hours of moderate intensity exercise per week. And if you can, in fact, increase that to 420 minutes, which is about 7 hours, you're going to reduce your mortality risk by 24%. Based on this, the current recommendation for physical activity is to have at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity physical activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity or an equivalent combination. So that would equate to about 30 minutes of moderate intensity, a brisk walking or something of that sort for 5 days a week, which is something anyone can manage. Moving on to the third pillar of sustainable wellness, which was the effective nutritional management. Now, in 1982, Dr. Dennis Burkitt wrote a landmark article about Western diseases and their emergence related to diet. The conclusion of this article was that the 21st century lifestyle related particularly to diet was the cause of most of the diseases of the 21st century. He proposed dietary changes to prevent these and treat these diseases. Further on in 1987, along with Dr. Trowell, they wrote an article about the development of the concept of dietary fiber. During the Industrial Revolution, fiber was taken out of flour due to the belief that dietary fiber was a gastric irritant. Now, in place of the dietary fiber, they put more animal products, salt and sugar, and the end result has been an increase in the incidence and prevalence of lifestyle diseases. So when you look at the nutritional management, what you need to understand is there are certain category of over-consumed foods, particularly coming from the Western world, which is now adapted in our parts of the world. These are the added sugars, the high fructose corn syrup based foods, cholesterol, saturated fat, sodium, trans fats, processed grains, and high calorie food. Now they have to be significantly reduced in consumption. The next one is the shortfall nutrients. Now when you say shortfall nutrients, they are the nutrients that are not adequately consumed by at least 25% of the population. Now these include calcium, fiber, magnesium, potassium, vitamin A, C, D, E, and K. You have to sufficiently have an intake of these shortfall nutrients to keep your health in balance. Now, what are the type of foods that give you this? In descending order, that would be number 1, vegetables, including mushrooms, herbs and spices, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. You can see that none of the animal products are coming in this. Now, this has to be a major change as part of nutritional management of our lifestyle. Now, some of the evidence-based dietary programs include the Ornish diet. They have extensively, Dean Ornish, an American doctor, has extensively looked into the effect of intensive lifestyle management with effective dietary management into the treatment and in fact reversal of certain conditions, and he's found that it is very effective in coronary artery disease, diabetes, hypercholesterolemia, hypertension, obesity, and some type of cancers like prostate cancer. The other ones are Esselstyn plant-based diet, which has some evidence base for coronary artery disease, the DASH diet for hypertension, the portfolio diet for hypercholesterolemia. The general principles on food includes think holistically about food packages. You could have an excellent source of calcium by drinking milk, dairy products, but is that all that it is? Calcium is not just milk is not just a source of calcium, but it is also a source of saturated fat. So you need to look at that as well when you consider the nutrient value of certain foods. You need to consider the food package. And you need to think of it as a whole food rather than, you have to consume whole food. For example, an apple is certainly a better food than an apple tart or an apple juice, where it's going to lose most of its nutrient value and starts having more overconsumed nutrients. So the centering the diet on whole plant-based food is going to be crucial. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. That's what Michael Pollan said in his book. Eat food means unprocessed and natural. Not too much means keep it appropriate portion sizes and mostly keep it plant-based. Eat a rainbow every day. Variety of plant foods with different colors tend to have flavonoids and the vitamins which are essential to health and disease prevention. Supplements are not going to replace what the food is going to give us. So we need to keep our food healthy, not just add supplements. A wide variety of plant foods help us meet the daily requirements of the macronutrients and micronutrients. You begin by eating vegetable, fruits, and then add herbs and spices. Now, one very important point that I need to talk about is the method of food preparation and how it influences the formation of advanced glycation end products, which is now known as a major factor for oxidative stress and inflammation, and a main factor for disease formation. This is formed by a spontaneous chemical reaction between amino acids and monosaccharides such as glucose. And it tends to occur more in protein-rich food, which is cooked in higher temperatures and high heat applied for longer period of time. Dry food, the more dry you keep the food, the more AJU formation is there. And the more basic or acidic the food is, that is also going to influence the formation of AJUs. And it increases over time although the body can detoxify it, it processes them very slowly. So it builds up in cells in our body that have long life, like the nerve cells, the brain cells, the blood vessels, and the eye cells. So it tends to directly affect, and it is related to diseases such as diabetes, atherosclerosis, kidney disease, slow wound healing, dementia, and cataracts, and diseases such as these. In 2014, WHO looked at the prevalence of diabetes, which was about 422 million, which is a prevalence of about 8.5%. Now this was a rapid rise from 1980, which was only about 108 million, but if you look at the prevalence in percentage, it was only 4.7%. So you can see that it's almost double in 2014. That's in spite of all the technology advancement and all the excellent developments that has happened in the field of medicine. We still failed to stop the prevalence of diabetes or reduce the prevalence of diabetes, and this is largely due to the lifestyle factors, because diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is clearly a lifestyle disease. And in 2025, WHO has projected the incidence of diabetes to rise by 109% in Africa and 96% in the Middle East, and globally it's set to increase by 55%. Now, diet is a cornerstone of type 2 diabetes control, treatment and reversal. Any diabetologist or endocrinologist here would admit that. Exercise can help significantly, and stress management can help significantly. Cardiovascular disease is common in the Western civilization with diets that are high in fats, whereas in civilizations that used to follow diets that are plant-based and low in fat, it was almost non-existent. But that was the past. Things have changed now. The civilizations which used to follow these low-fat, plant-based diet are now getting influenced by the westernization, and their diets are changing, and the incidence of lifestyle diseases are increasing in these parts of the world, like the places like Uganda, the South African Bantu population, the rural China. These used to be non-existent in these civilizations, but now the incidents are increasing. Moving on to the fourth pillar of sustainable wellness, which is maintaining social connectivity. Now, when we say social connectivity, the important aspect is that we need to remain positive about the people that we are interacting with. Now, it's impossible that everyone will give positive vibes for you. There are going to be feedbacks that you experience. Remember, I told you that we are social beings and we have plenty of these mirror neurons, and we are going to identify reactions from people which we may not like. And if we are going to react to that, it is going to affect our stress level. We are going to be influenced by that, and we stop enjoying life, we stop finding joy, interest, and contentment in life, and we stop loving life. We need to change this. We need to instill the positive aspects of life, and we need to put positive psychology into our mind and put joy, interest, contentment, pride, and love. We need to share our successes. We need to enjoy other people's successes as well, and we need to move forward with our wellness. The fifth pillar of sustainable wellness is effective addiction management. Now, when I talk about addiction, it is not only tobacco and alcohol that I mean. There is a new kind of addiction that is developing in the world, especially with the younger generation, which is addiction to technology. That has to be managed as well. When we talk about tobacco and alcohol addiction, the harmful effects of tobacco and alcohol, I don't need to talk about that to you, all of you. You know probably much more than me about all the harmful effects of tobacco and alcohol. But there are effective ways of managing this, and it has to be managed if we are going to achieve a wellness that is going to be sustained in our life. Now, there are medications. If counseling is not, there are several ways that we can address the addiction behaviors through counseling, through cognitive behavioral therapy, through motivational interviewing. and workshops, group workshops. There are very, very useful tools that we have to manage this. Now, if in case they are not as effective as we want, we still have medications that are going to help significantly, like the nicotine replacement therapy, bupropion for smoking cessation, varenicline, which can be used in dosages of 0.5 milligrams once daily and eventually increased up to 1 milligram twice daily and continued for 24 weeks. For alcohol management, there is naltrexone, which can be used at 50 milligrams once or twice daily. There is acamprosate, disulfiram, gabapentin. These are all very effective ways of managing the alcohol dependence. And as I said, the technology addiction clearly has to be managed as well. And particularly we need to educate the younger generation who are now very vulnerable. The technology addiction is not just going to affect the regular aspects of what technology is bringing into their life, but it's also going to induce sedentary behaviors into a child's life. And if we are indulging in that, it is going to induce sedentary behaviors into our lives. And sometimes we doctors are also at risk of these sedentary behaviors, which we need to make changes about. Now, this is what it really is, the 5 pillars of sustainable wellness. They're all equally important, but effective stress management is the key to keeping all these pillars together. We need to maintain the physical fitness. We need to effectively manage the nutrition. We need to maintain the social connectivity. We need to manage our substance usages and addictive behaviors effectively. Now, finally, let me touch a little bit upon epigenetics and how it's related to lifestyle. Now, genes are what we are driven by from birth. But it's not only the genes that influences us. There are non-DNA sequence components that act like gene switches that modify and control the gene expression through DNA methylation, microRNAs, histone acetylation, and a growing number of other molecular changes. The maternal diet is strongly correlated with adiposity and metabolic syndromes in her children. If mothers are eating a diet that is low in plants, they're going to lack the methylation capacity, which is extremely important. And methyl groups come through plant foods and B vitamins. So if a diet by the parents are going to be poor, it is clearly going to be passed on, the epigenetics of that is going to be passed on to the offsprings. So you can change your lifestyle and change the way your genes behave. You can turn on the protective genes and turn off the genes that promote the inflammation, oxidative stress, and oncogenesis. In addition, the healthy lifestyle changes and lengthens the telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps to our DNAs, and that tends to help us with our aging process. So overall, the key influences of epigenetics are the diet, exercise, sleep, and obesity. And the positive influences that help stabilize the epigenome are the polyphenols, B vitamins, exercise, stress reduction, healthy maternal and paternal diet. And the negative influences include sugar, alcohol, saturated fat, and processed food. Finally, your genes are not your destiny, but your lifestyle is. The changes that you make today will change your lifestyle and ultimately your future. Our slogan for wellness at Retrieve is reclaim what was once yours, retain what is now yours, and remove what may become yours. That means we were all healthy at some point. We were all at some point been well. We will help you reclaim that wellness that you lost. Retain what is good in you at the moment, and we will help you address that and keep what is good for you and remove what may become yours, which are the diseases that may become yours if you are not careful, and we will help you address these and help you stay well and sustain the wellness. These are our services. If any of you are interested in finding out more about our services, our staff are very happy to help you out with those queries. And these are our details. We have a website, Facebook page, and Instagram presence. And please visit our website and Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Now, let me invite Jane Gerald, our psychologist and wellness counselor, to address the audience and give the vote of thanks. There?
Good evening, everybody. Honorable and respected Chief Guest, Dr. Paul Puthwaran, and Guest of Honor, Dr. Maria Verghese, our most valued invited guests, and ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks for today's occasion. I, on behalf of Retrieve and our entire team, let's call it a fraternity of holistic well-being, extend our generous thanks and heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed invited guests. Thank you all. I would like to express my gratitude to the entire guest who has come here, putting aside their busy schedule, and to join us and with our happiness and joy. I would also like to thank our beloved Dr. AJU Abraham for his wonderful presentation, for informative session. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to our entire team for their enormous cooperation in organizing this event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, an organization like this, our Retrieve family, cannot happen overnight. The wheels started rolling weeks and months and years ago. It requires planning and bird's eye for details. And a big round of applause for our dear Dr. AJU Abraham for that. We are very fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues. So once again, I thank you all for coming here with us. It has been a pronounced pleasure. So have a great night ahead, and thank you all once again. Our food counters are waiting for you. It's open, so let's enjoy the dinner. I welcome you all to have dinner along with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. you.